Now we're going to be working with vertex form and general forms of equations. So what it means by vertex form is what is easiest for us to graph. So remember these equations when we have y equals x minus 5 squared minus 6, and you'd have to tell how does this graph translate? Well, we see the negative 5 on the inside, so we do the opposite, which means right 5. And the negative 6 on the outside means do what it tells you, so down 6. And the square tells you it's a parabola. So we have this shape in this location. So we went over 5, right 5, and then down 6. So our vertex is at 5, negative 6. 5, negative 6. So the vertex is given for you in this form of our equation. However, what we want to do in order to factor the polynomial is to write it in a general form. And the general form is really simple. All you have to do is take this and expand it. So I would write y equals x minus 5. Because there's a square there, that means there's two x minus 5s being multiplied together. And then I have that minus 6. Now, we just learned the foiling method, so use the foiling method right here. So we would have our firsts, which would be x squared. We would have our outsides, which would be negative 5x. We would have our insides, which would also be negative 5x. And we'd have our lasts, which would be plus 25. And then you have this negative 6 along with it. So this is y equals x squared minus 5x plus 25 minus 6. Now, combine your like terms. So we don't have any more x squared, so I'm just going to keep x squared right there. We have two negative 5x's, so negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10x. And then we have 25 minus 6, which equals 19. So x squared minus 10x plus 19 is the same as y equals x minus 5 squared negative 6. These equations right here are the exact same thing. This one is in the vertex form, this one is in the general form. So pretty simple. We're just writing it like this, so eventually we can do our little diamond. Remember our diamond shape? So this is leading us into the diamond shape, where our negative 10 will be right here, and our 19 will be right there. Okay? So now let's do a few more examples with vertex to general form. So let us write y equals x plus 4 squared plus 1. So let's do our foiling method. X plus 4, x plus 4. Then we add the 1. I have two x plus 4s, because of this square right here. So I have 1, 2. Would be multiplied together. Okay. So now use foiling method. We will have the outers, which would be, or the firsts, which would be x squared. The outers, which would be 4x. We would have the insides, which would be another 4x. And we would have the lasts, which would be 16. And then we add this 1 on from the top here. Now we need to combine our like terms. There's no other x squared, so we leave that. There are two 4x's, so combined they make 8x. 4 plus 4, or 4 apples plus 4 apples equals 8 apples. And I need to have a plus 16 plus 1. So combined, 16 plus 1 is 17. So y equals x squared plus 8x plus 17 is the same as that equation right there. This is the vertex form. This is the general form. Alright, how about one more example? Y equals negative 4 x plus 1 squared minus 2. Alright, so let's expand. So we have negative 4, and now we have x plus 1 squared, so that means we're going to write 2 of them and get rid of the square, and then tack on that negative 2. Alright, next, let's FOIL this. So y equals negative 4. Now, foiling, I'm going to put a parenthesis here, because that negative 4 is going to be distributed to both of these. But I want to do that afterwards, after I FOIL. So do the first, so x times x squared. Do the outsides, x times 1, which is just x. Now the insides, 1 times x is just x. And 1 times 1, the last, which is also just 1. Then we have negative 2. Notice I put all this in parentheses because there's something being multiplied out in front here. Now I'm going to simplify what's in my polynomial. So y equals negative 4 x squared doesn't have anything. We have 2 x's and we have a 1. So these x's right here combine to be the 2x, the 1 I brought down, the x squared I just brought down. Now I'm going to distribute this negative 4. So we have negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. See that negative sign down there at the bottom? Don't lose track of it. Let's move it up a little bit. Then we do negative 4 times 2x, so that would be negative 8x. Then we do negative 4 times 1, which would be negative 4. And then we have this minus 2 at the end. Alright, now bear with me. I'm just going to take this whole equation. I'm going to move it right here. So I'm going to write y equals negative 4x squared minus 8x minus 4 minus 2. So, same equation, I just moved it up a little bit so we can see all of it. Now, we have to combine our like terms. See if we have any and combine them. So there's no other x squared, so I'm just going to bring it down. There's no other x's to go with the negative 8x, so I'm going to bring that down. And look, I have a negative 4 and a negative 2. Those are both like terms, just numbers, so I'm going to combine them. So negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. And it looks like we're left with our trinomial, so that's our answer. So this right here is the same equation as the one in the red here. This one is in vertex form, this one is in general form.